What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another show, another Cruise Island. I'm doing a little different. I'll be hosting See You Sunday today. Got my boy Jelani, first place Falcons. What's going on, Jelani? I know it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Appreciate you for having me on. Like you said, first place. Don't know if it'll be for too long, but we enjoying it for the day. Just happy to be on.
I wish I could enjoy first place in the division for a day. Mo, how's it going? Man, another, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
Been a
bro,
minute,
it's been a minute.
but I know you're out there living your best life, second place in the division, going through with Cooper Rush. Got you, that had y'all sitting pretty for Dak to come back. A lot of people thought y'all were done.
I thought we were done. Okay, I was one of those 100%. I canned the season. But then what pissed me off about Cooper Rush is I had to spend 5 weeks defending the fact that Dak is a 10 times better quarterback than Cooper Rush just because he's winning games because our defense is playing lights out. Tony Pollard and Zeke they were playing elite as a combo together in the run game. We were running the ball and playing defense. And I was having to argue with people that Cooper Rush is not better than Dak Prescott. That I didn't think Dak would be out and I'd be stressed out about Dak. And then he comes back and lights everything up. So that argument's over.
I've been having almost the same discussion about Taylor Heineke. Everybody when Carson Wentz and given it's not like we had Dak Prescott at quarterback. We had Carson Wentz. We had what we had. But people keep saying like Taylor Heineke, put him in, like let's see what he can do with a full year. And I had to remind people he had a full year last year. He started 15 to 17 games, played in 16 to 17. He went 7 and 10. Like, what did y'all expect was gonna happen?
The only reason he looks better is because like he's been there. So he got the report. Like Terry McLaurin looks a lot better with Taylor Heineke, but that's what happens when you've been there for a couple of years. Like, oh yeah, I know the guys, as opposed to Carson Wentz coming in, learning a new playbook, this and that. And he's already not that good anyway, but I don't even want to get into the Carson Wentz conversation because I'm kind of on his side. I just think he's gotten a fair shake, but it happens. That's part of football.
Yeah. So we're going to get into these matchups that we're going to be looking at. This first one, I did not think if you would have asked me beginning of the season, would this be a matchup to watch in week 9? I would have looked at you and said, it's a joke. Why are you even talking? But we got to talk about Packers at Lions. Packers are on the downfall. They're sliding. Lost to Washington 2 weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been able to really turn it around and do what I guess the organization thought he was going to be able to do with no weapons around him. But what's your guys' outlook on this matchup? I'll start with you, Jelani.
Like you said, it's kind of crazy. We wouldn't think it would be a matchup, but it's really a matchup of the bottom feeders of the division at the moment. Because really with the Packers right now, with this L, it's their season. We probably think is already solidified. They're more likely missing the playoffs, especially after not being able to do anything at the trade deadline. I saw some rumors they try to get everybody. They try to get Claypool. They try to get Judy. They try to get Waller. Even he's hurt still. They try to get everybody and still didn't get nobody. So it's like it's looking pretty bad. And I think they're going to be without Lazard and Watson today. So just a bad team getting worse. So it definitely sucks. Like you said, haven't been able to see Aaron Rodgers turn around like we all expect him to do, have been able to do in the past years when they maybe have a slip up. Even last year they got torched the first game and then end up being an NFC championship game. So it's really sorry to see. It sucks to see. A lot of people feel like he's gonna maybe retire after the season, but I mean, all in all, I still don't expect them to lose the game. The Lions, like I said last week when me and Thad was hosting See You Sunday, feel good story of the year. We thought they were gonna come in because of Hard Knocks and just put on a show, and they looked good the first few weeks, especially offensively. But ever since I think maybe like week 5, it's just taking a dip. All their receivers are pretty much hurt as well. Defense just hasn't looked good either. So it's going to be a matchup that I don't really want to watch, but I still expect the Packers to come out with the win today for sure, and hopefully salvage somewhat of their season, kind of keep them in that the run-in for a playoff spot. But more like I said, it's done. It's wraps this year.
What about you, Mo?
So I'm not gonna go on a rant, right? But with Green Bay, it's like there comes a point in time where it's like and I'm not saying but people, they want to point fingers everywhere else except at Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I get it. He doesn't have an elite weapon, right? But we go into this season and Derek Carr gets Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes loses Tyreek Hill, and obviously Aaron Rodgers loses Devontae Adams. Now, I understand that Andy Reid is a better coach, but they still have a coach who's won nothing less than 13 games. They went 13-3, 13-3, and then 13-4 last year. So he's won nothing less than 13 games. So he's not a bad coach by any means, even if you are the benefit of having Aaron Rodgers. But it's like they got elite defense. Defense isn't playing well. Like we always talk about weapons, and it's like, okay, they may not draft the Chris Olave or the Garrett Wilson of the draft, but they still went and got them weapons. They're young. And Aaron Rodgers is doing nothing to help them. I mean, bro, you're taking 21-year-olds and pointing blame on them, and you're going on national media and going on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday and kind of pointing fingers at everybody else. And it's like, how am I supposed to want to play with this guy? How am I supposed to live up to be great? I mean, you still going to work hard regardless, but it's like, man, I play with a quarterback who doesn't believe in me. He craps on me every week on a weekly basis. So I don't know. It's just one of those with the Packers. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers needs to look himself in the mirror and just say, you know what? What can I do to be better? And it's not about, we know he's an all-time great talent. We know he's a great quarterback, but what can I do to be better to make these guys better? And obviously pointing the finger isn't working. So you should try something else. And then with the Lions, well, we come into the season, everybody's buying into the Lions. Hard Knocks, like you were internally, I have no reason to hate the Lions. So like I was rooting for the Lions to be good. Love to see them make the playoffs or something. You love Dan Campbell. And my only question with the Lions is like at the end of the year, if they're trending the way they are, which is upward in the building, but it's not upward in terms of wins and losses, like could Dan Campbell get fired? And if he did, like, do you think that would be, I think the NFL world would be in an uproar if Dan Campbell got fired, because what are the expectations? You've seen it on Hard Knocks. The players love them, everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's a business and you got to win. But I would be surprised if he was fired. But at the same time, I could see a GM saying, hey, man, it's a great atmosphere in here, but it's not resulting into any type of winning. So I think that's something to look out for, because does the personality outlast the result? And that's kind of what you're seeing with Dan Campbell is like he brought some fire. They got some up and up. They're going to get a top draft pick, maybe go quarterback, maybe not. That's a conversation to be had within the building. But you see the environment that is up on the up, but when you're not winning games at some point, like your personality, it doesn't matter how much people like you, they'll can you because you in a business of winning. So that's something I'm interested to see too. And I hope the Lions beat the Packers today, because I want to hear Aaron Rodgers cry even more.
Yeah, it's been literally each week who does Aaron blame this week. Like, literally, that's all we tune in just waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it on the head. Packers, they've been struggling, and we see it on Pat McAfee show every week. Aaron Rodgers blaming somebody new, not really taking. And if you're one of the greatest quarterbacks, if you're trying to claim to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, you got to be able to elevate your receivers. You got to be able to elevate the people around you. And he simply is not doing that. Now, I do think this says a little bit more about Matt LaFleur, in that, yes, he benefited greatly from having Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Now that Adams is gone, he's not really putting his team in a great position to win. But to speak on the Lions, I think Lions, their money, or the according to Vegas right now, they're +4. I did take that +4 because, again, they're a top 10 scoring offense. Packers defense has been struggling. So I have no reason to think that the Lions can't just outright win this game. But at the end of the day, it is still Aaron Rodgers. And I just think it's going to be a really close game. If the Packers lose today, their season is done. Yeah, they can wrap it up and start playing for Cancun in a few weeks. But it's just a weird vibe to be talking about the Packers possibly losing to the Lions and their season being done in week 9. It feels weird. Who you guys got winning? Or you guys both say you guys got Packers winning this game, though, right?
No, Mo got Lions.
I hope the Lions win, so I'm going to pick the Lions. Like, there's no analytical behind it. Just, I want the Lions to win, so I'm rocking with the Lions today.
Yeah. Bet. All right, next game we'll be looking at another game with two teams that have struggled, that we didn't think they were going to be struggling. Rams at Bucks, the last 2 Super Bowl champions. It is weird because, again, both those teams are sliding. Bucks are 3-5. The Rams are 3-4. Mo, what's your outlook on this game?
So first off, this is a bad game. Like it's two teams that are playing below standard right now. With the Rams, I kind of gave them a benefit of the doubt for a couple weeks, the first few weeks, because like the Super Bowl hangover, they had a lot of things, but like they're just not good. Like, and their offense is very predictable. They're throwing to Cooper Kupp. He's getting his touches. If you're a fantasy football guy, you love having Cooper Kupp on your team. But like Matt Stafford looks like he took a step back. I don't know if it's the injury is getting to him or whatnot, but he definitely, with the Rams, I'm surprised they're still struggling. I think they could win this game and they could start looking on the up and up. They're not all the way out of their division. I mean, they're a game and a half because of the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty much a game and a half out of first place. Like, and we talk about how good San Francisco is. Isn't San Francisco 4-4 right now?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
We're talking about how good San Francisco is, and people are buying into them at 4-4. Granted, they've had the injuries. Seattle's balling at 5-3, which probably nobody seen coming. But they're not all the way out of winning the division. So I think this, and then I think with Tampa, bro, it's not even Tom Brady. Like, he's like leading the league in yards. He's like top 5 to 8 in touchdowns. He hasn't thrown a bunch of interceptions. His QBR is like top 5. So every statistical category tells you Tom Brady still has it, but when you're losing, it looks different. Their defense is horrible. They can't stop the run. The running offense is horrible. They can't get Leonard Fournette going. I don't know if it's because he can't get going. I don't know if they can't get in a rhythm. But offensively, they've been really one-sided as far as throwing the ball. And it just comes a point in time where asking a 45-year-old quarterback, I know he's leading the league in yards, but asking that to be the recipe for victory, the older you get, the harder it gets. And then their defense is playing horrible. Like when we start calling out players, Shaq Barrett's out for the year. Devin White there's film on him looking like he's not even trying sometimes. So it's almost like when you get a bunch of young guys mixed with veterans, and those young guys got a lot of success really early, playing in back-to-back Super Bowls and stuff like that. Like, you get to the point where maybe too much success could be harmful for the guy, because now they're worried about getting their money. They think they're up here when maybe they're not, or they're not working as hard. So I think that a lot of that has come back. And I think playing with Tom Brady can wear down on you. And I think you're seeing it in Tampa. Like, I just think that New England style of football and, 23 hours a day, lock yourself in for football, I think it's kind of wearing on everybody, just because I know Tom Brady's going through stuff, but he's not the only one on the sideline that looks miserable. Like, there's a bunch of players over there. Mike Evans has been, he had the thing in New Orleans, and you kind of see him getting into it with people. Like, everybody looks miserable. So I think the way Tom Brady goes about football, and he has that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mentality where it's I eat, sleep, and breathe this until my career is over. I think you're starting to see that weigh on Tampa, and it's showing on the field and even off the field, and on top of all the drama that's surrounding Tom Brady right now in the first place. So I guess now that all that's over, I guess the one thing we'll see is Tom Brady going to be fully locked in to football now that it's kind of been, is done and over with.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern is, like, I get it. A divorce is never easy, especially when your divorce is in, the spotlight for so long. Is he going to be able to put it behind him and get this team right? Again, you're right, Mo. He has been leading the league. He's been playing well. It's just everybody around him can't really. I think it's the coaching a little bit. He took it took a step back on coaching after Bruce Arians he retired. But I think if either of these two teams were to kind of right the ship today, you're right, it's going to be the Rams. Rams are probably going to pull this one out and probably see them more of get on track to maybe press San Francisco for the division. Even though Seattle's winning it right now, I don't think anybody sees Seattle holding on to it. It'd be dope if they do, but again, with Geno Smith, I think that magic is going to run out eventually. So who I got the Rams as well. I think Mo, you took the Rams. Jelani?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. Just obviously not for certain reasons, but other reasons, yeah. Like you guys said, coming into the year, one thing Mo said, neither one of these teams are out of it divisional wise. Like, the leaders for both the divisions are teams that should have won 2 games this year. So that's the first thing. The Rams and Bucks definitely still have a shot at the division. Second thing is I said Bucks coming into this year. I think both teams, honestly, they lost a lot of pieces that they didn't think was going to be as key of pieces of losing. Like with the Rams, obviously Cooper Kupp is the number one option. They brought in Allen Robinson. I feel like they don't use him as much or as savvy of ways as they used to with maybe Robert Woods or even when Odell came in for a few weeks. And even like I said, on the Bucs side of things, they just, they have a bunch of injuries. Offensive line, we knew coming into the year, they was losing guys left and right. And obviously with a 45-year-old quarterback, you're going to need an offensive line to, keep him upright to, make the plays to these pass catching weapons that they brought in. And, Julio, and you can still obviously have Mike Evans, Godwin's brought in, our old guy as well. Can't even think of his name. Russell Gage. Yeah, Russell Gage too. So, got to keep him upright to be able to even get the guys the ball. And like you said, Mo said it plenty of times. Guys do kind of they look out of it. Like I said, Mike Evans has been to a lot of things. Devin White hasn't looked that great out at all this year. Their secondary has been in shambles as well. I know a few guys have been out, but they just don't look the same. And like you said, that football mentality just weighs on you after a time. And having so much success coming off Super Bowl, that NFC appearance last year, they felt like they should have been right back into it in a weaker division. And even what a lot of people thought was going to be a weak NFC in general coming into the year. So, it definitely just feels different in Tampa. I love to see it. But like you said, if there is one team that's more than likely going to, come out with a win today and maybe right the ship a little bit, I would hope and think it would be the Rams. Because even in their losses, they haven't looked great, but they've been in games and they haven't, just like look completely lost as a team. So I would say that would be the team that I would ride with today as well.
All right. Next game, it's a Sunday night game. Two we thought would be powerhouses. Really, only one of them is now. Titans at Chiefs. Jelani, what are you looking at for this game?
It was funny. It was funny. Walker, in the chat already says there's, great marketing tactic not to, have a Sunday night football. That was pretty funny thing to me. But I don't think he knows. He always liked to poke fun at his team, but he knows the Titans have kind of had the Chiefs numbers in past years. They've been able to attack them on the ground, obviously with Derrick Henry, and then Tannehill has been able to take care of the ball enough to, keep them in games as well. So it's not like, he's making fun of it, but it's not like, Titans are just don't have a shot in the dark at the Chiefs. Like I said, they've had their numbers the last few years, but the Chiefs have looked pretty well this year. Coming in, we thought Tyreek Hill losing him would be a big hit, but guys have stepped up. They went out, got Valdez Scantling, they got Juju Smith. It took them a minute to kind of get acclimated and have an impact on the offense. There's still guys that you got to keep an eye on, deep threats, and even in the short passing game with Juju. And now they add on with Tony, which I think they're kind of going to try to shape into a Tyreek Hill, which I think he has the potential to do so. And even Thad said it last week on our show. Andy Reid kind of has a knack for getting guys like this that, have attitude issues or whatever the case may be, and kind of turn them into superstars and seeing their full potential. So, and he's supposed to be playing today as well, or tonight as well. So I expect the Chiefs to come out with the win for sure. But like I said, I don't think the Titans are just completely out of it. Like I said, they do what they need to do against this team. They have their number. They run the ball. They're going to pound you. Defensive wise, like I said, it's not like their defense is overwhelmingly worse than the Chiefs. So like I said, I think Vrabel's obviously a solid coach, solid game planner. He always has something ready for them. So I think it will be a pretty good matchup, but I think the Chiefs ultimately will take this game.
Yeah. I think I saw something the other day. Mike Vrabel says it a lot. Says one thing that the difference between his team and the league and the rest of the league is they have Derrick Henry, which is 100% an accurate statement. Yeah. The fact that they have Derrick Henry, as long as he's healthy, you can't count them out of any game.
Exactly.
I do like the way the Chiefs have been looking, even with the, letting go of Tyree, trading him to the Dolphins. Everybody, including myself, we did all think he was going to take a step back. Patrick Mahomes was missing one of the better weapons on the team outside of Travis Kelce, and he honestly has not. He's doing what everybody expected Aaron Rodgers to do with less weapons. He's making those guys. He's making Valdez Scantling look like a Pro Bowler. He's elevating these guys to be better, to play better, and putting these guys in positions to make plays and to win ball games. The fact that him and Tyreek Hill both have not missed a step without each other just goes to show how great each of those guys are, respectively.
Yeah.
Again, you can't count out the Titans just for having Derrick Henry alone. But I think at the end of the day, with it being in Kansas City, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to do what Patrick Mahomes does, and he's going to find a way to win the game. I'm taking Chiefs in this one. Mo, what you looking at?
Yeah, I'm taking first off, I'm taking Kansas City. Crazy stat. Patrick Mahomes hasn't lost in November or December since 2019. He has not lost a game in November or December since 2019. Titans were actually the last team to beat him in November or December. So that's like an odd stat, but it's one of those like, man, as it gets later in the season, Patrick Mahomes gets more lethal. And this Chiefs team is about, I don't know, they're probably a little bit better than you thought, only because you didn't know what it would look like without Tyreek Hill. They're winning games. Came down in a shootout, against Buffalo. I think Mahomes in that aspect reverted back to trying to do too much sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think what the best thing about losing Tyreek Hill is now he's able to learn the whole take what the defense gives you. And essentially that's what he's been doing is like he's not trying to force it because he has Tyreek Hill down there and he has a playmaker. He's just taking what the defense gives him, and enough of those plays turn into touchdowns. And so, I mean, Patrick Mahomes to me is still the best quarterback in the league. Nothing has really changed. I guess it's the offense it doesn't look the same. It's not as explosive, but it's still just as efficient. Like they're still scoring a bunch of points. They're still able to throw the ball all over the field. It just looks a little bit different when you give Tyreek Hill a pass down the field, or when you give him a screen and go, as opposed to doing it for Valdez-Scantling or Juju or, a short route to Travis Kelce, which we're used to and accustomed to that. But just looks different, but it's still the same result. They're they're the second best team in the AFC, arguably the second best team in the NFL right now, essentially, I guess, second or third best, whatever. You got Philly, you got Buffalo. So they haven't missed a beat. The only thing that scares me is defensively, a team like the Titans who runs the ball, holds a lot of clock, they end up winning the time of possession battle. Like, I think that's the kryptonite for Kansas City. But the only thing is, Titans are one of the few teams, especially when you look at playoff teams, Titans are one of the few teams that play that kind of football that's kind of the kryptonite to Kansas City. I mean, because everybody else throws it all over the field, from the Bills, the Chargers, you name them. They're throwing the ball all over the field. So nobody really plays that run. Like, I think Chiefs would have a problem with Cleveland too. Like, I think that would be a team that they would have a problem with. But I think Kansas City gets it done tonight. I think it's closer than people think. I know people think the Titans will get obliterated, but it's a lot of times when you count the Titans out is when they play a lot better, play a really good game. Derrick Henry could have 150 yards and nobody would be surprised. So I think the Titans play the right style of football to kind of catch the Chiefs slipping. But I think at the end of the day, the Chiefs pull it out just because Mahomes and Josh Allen are two quarterbacks. They've turned into Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I ain't betting against them unless I'm betting on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I respect that. So Mo, you're in a unique position this week. You get to just sit back and just enjoy a week of football with Dallas being on a bye. So who is your matchup? What matchup are you looking at this week? Are you most intrigued by?
So are we doing it from team perspective or are we doing it from player perspective?
From a team perspective.
Okay, so team perspective, Chargers and Falcons. And the reason I say that, I think the Falcons have a real opportunity to win this game. It's at home. But the Chargers are depleted. And so, like, if Atlanta wants to keep their foot on the gas as far as being in first place in the NFC South, taking advantage of a beat-up Chargers team, I mean, he's missing 2 offensive linemen, multiple players on defense, both wide receivers. Like, Justin Herbert's going to be he's got fried ribs, so he's going to be going out there basically trying to put the team on his back, and I don't know if he could do it just because the Falcons have played efficient football. So, yeah, from a team perspective, I think that Chargers-Falcons will be something to watch.
What about you, Jelani?
Yeah, that would have been the obvious choice, but obviously I'm going to go a little different route. For me, I kind of like, well, you'll probably talk about your matchup with the Vikings. But I think I kind of want to see this Bills Jets matchup. I think the Jets are at home. obviously with a Jets win, I think that would put them one game within the division. They've obviously they drafted amazing this year. That defense has looked really, really well. Offensively, a lot of guys have played and looked really, really well. We feel like, Zach Wilson could be the reason that this kind of holding them back a little bit. But, obviously with the injury to Michael Carter, not Michael Carter, my fault, Breece Hall, definitely wish he was in for this game because it'd just be a spectacular show to watch. But I still think they do got a shot. Obviously, they made the trade for James Robinson. I think he's questionable right now to play. But I think by committee with him, Robinson, I think Tyler Johnson, they should be able to get a little bit going on the run game and even in the pass game as well. So I think it's my game to watch only because, like I said, it's a divisional battle. Bills have to go, on the road. They'll play, playing the Jets. They've looked pretty well. None of us, maybe in another year, I thought they would probably be kind of at this spot. Saleh really has this team, playing pretty good football. So I think they got a shot today to maybe upset the Bills. I still think the Bills come out with a win, but I just think it'll be a good back and forth matchup and a good divisional battle.
And within that game, the matchup to watch is Sauce Gardner versus Stephon Diggs. Like,
exactly.
That's why when I was saying player or team, like, bro, Sauce Gardner has been playing at an elite level as a rookie corner, and he's played against some top wide receivers and is I ain't gonna say locked them up, but he's done his part as a young corner in this league. And so to see how he fares against a great quarterback and a great wide receiver and Stephon Diggs, like that's the one matchup where I want to see, like, he has a chance to really make a name for himself. Down Diggs.
And that's facts. And to Mo's point, it's a good reason is because a lot of the first round corner rookies that we've been seeing getting drafted over the past few years haven't really came out and played as great in their first year. Maybe that second, third year they make jumps. I know obviously Diggs, he played pretty well. I know AJ played okay as well, but that second year is when they both kind of took off. Like these last few years, the first round rookie corner wise just haven't played as up to par, but Sauce has just looked the part as advertised and has been playing really well. Yeah, he's definitely different.
Definitely different. Just talking into what you could say he's a lockdown corner. According to Pro Football Focus in man coverage this season, he's number one in pass yards allowed, 26. Tied for first in passing touchdowns allowed, 0. Number one in first downs allowed, 2. Tied for first in forced incompletions, 2. And number one in yards per snap allowed, 0.26. He's allowing 0.26 yards.
That's crazy.
Darrell Jr.
Yeah.
Man. So if he, and that's the scary thing, the fact that this is his rookie year. This isn't year 4 or 5, him hitting his prime. This is 9 games into his career. Like that's going to be that might just be the next Darrelle Revis. But that was going to be my game, my matchup to watch if it wasn't said. One of them that I'm looking just because these two teams are really bad. And I really want to see how bad the Raiders are. This Raiders-Jags game, I really am curious to see if these Jags can pull out this win. The Raiders have not looked good at all. They've added, hella weapons. Devontae Adams, obviously the biggest one. They have Darren Wallen. They have Josh Jacobs. Like this team should not be 2-5 right now, and that whole division is a disappointment. But my matchup obviously is my own. Vikings playing in DC against the Commanders. Kirk Cousins, his first game back at DC since he walked away in free agency. The only reason I'm even remotely interested in this game is because the Commanders are on a 3-game win streak. They have a chance to get to 5-4. If they do, this will be the first time in Ron Rivera's tenure here that we are above 500 after week 2. The only 2 times he has been above 500 is after a week 1 win. That's it. But again, the Vikings, they've looked like one of the more complete teams in this league. Kirk Cousins playing well. Dalvin Cook dominating. Justin Jefferson, he's Justin Jefferson. You still got Adam Thielen on the other side. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I do think the Vikings are gonna win. I do think it's gonna be kind of close. I did take the Commanders +3 in my parlay, so for what it's worth. So, even if they don't win, hopefully they can win me a little bit of money. But I think the Vikings are gonna leave FedEx Field with another dub and move on to 6-1.
I think that one's tough. I think because my philosophy is always when you keep coming close to losing games, eventually you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And I think on the road against Washington, seems like the vibes are getting a little more positive ever since they found out Dan Snyder's trying to sell the team. Like, I was able to see Cruz and Coach, their reaction and them talking about it. Like, I've seen people asking fans and everything. Like, seems like vibes are getting a little more positive because they see the light at the end of the tunnel now. But it's still one of those, the offense looks a little bit better with Heineke than Carson Wentz. And all I'm saying, we talked about this before the show. It's for the simple fact, like Carson Wentz had to adjust to a new playbook, everything like that. Heineke's the guy. He's the Cooper Rush, if you want to say, where he comes in, plays a few games. I think Carson Wentz will probably get his spot back when he comes back off an injury. But, I mean, Washington's winning games. They're at 500. The NFC East is the only division in football with everybody at least 500 or better. And I think Washington could take advantage. Is Chase Young playing in this game? Is he back yet?
Not. No.
But he's back at practice, right?
Yeah, he practiced this week.
Yeah, so I just think this is an odd spot, and I don't think Vikings have the corners to stop like McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and what's the guy y'all drafted this year?
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson.
He's not playing though.
Christ. Okay,
Yeah.
well, but Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin, like, I don't think the Vikings corners are that good. I think Terry McLaurin, he's like due for one or two big plays every game. That's where a majority of his yards come from. I think he could turn one of those big 40-yard catches into a touchdown this week. And it's not about hating the Vikings. It's just like when you come so close all the time and you should lose this or you should lose that, eventually a team's gonna pull through and win that game. And so I think Washington ends up winning this game, to be honest. I think they win this game. And it's not me trying to put bad juju. I really think, like, going into this game, bro, I just think Minnesota's due to give one up because they've come so close for so many times. And I think Washington's the team, like, they could take advantage in a close game. They could make one or two plays, and they probably will come fired up. I don't know, but this is just a weird one for me with Minnesota. I think Minnesota drops this one. Sorry, the other Rob.
I hope you're right. Like I said, it's just this team, like, we on the 3-game winning streak, but we've beat bad teams. We beat the Bears on the last play of the game, where if I forgot who the receiver was, but if he wouldn't have bobbled it when getting hit, that would have been a touchdown. We would have lost.
Daryl Mooney.
Packers is a bad team. Like, I'm not even gonna try to talk myself into, we beat the Packers are a bad team this year. And then we just beat, who did we beat last week? I already forgot.
Colts.
The Colts. We beat the Colts on another basically last play of the game on a terrible throw by Taylor Heineke. Don't get it twisted. And this is what I said on the Commanders in the Chat post-game show last week. Like, especially the Taylor Heineke stands, don't get it twisted. Don't think that this was him being a leader. That was a terrible throw. What's his name? Stephon Gilmore had that ball in his hands. Two hands, as you're taught, and Terry McLaurin just snatched it out of his hands. Like, so those are the kind of plays we are needing to get in order to win these games against bad teams. And so I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
you're right. It is. I hope it does. But again, hey, as long as they keep it within 3, I'll be happy. Along with Bills, Dolphins money line, Lions +4, and Bengals money line, including the Commander. That's my parlay. But real quick before we go, I have to. This is just a little thing for me, so I can pull it up real quick. So RG3 tweeted his MVP race. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever. So the other night when I had Prez and Jeff on, we were talking about who our MVP is, midseason MVP, and I had said that Saquon Barkley to me is an MVP because if you take him off that Giants team, no way they're as good as they are. They're possibly winless. So I see this. Just saying, Giants would be winless this year if Saquon was never born. I just want to throw it out there. Who liked my tweet? Yeah. Shout out RG3, the best flip-flopper in the game. Went from loving this team, loving Dan Snyder, to about to write a tell-all book about the dysfunction of this franchise, which I pre-ordered, and I'm mad it didn't come out. He took it off. Now he wants to buy the team. And then he wanted to play for the team again. He needs to get his life together. But that being said, forget all that. Jelani, Mo, thank you so much for coming on. This has been See You Sunday. Jelani, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and what projects you have coming up in the future.
Yeah, of course. So, of course, you can catch me and Thad on What the Game Means to Me, WTG MTM podcast on Twitter, and then What the Game Means to Me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that. Yeah, like I said, he had some things going on this morning, so we should be back next week either with See You Sunday or just just another one of our shows. Kind of bring you some insight to the NFL and everything. And hopefully, when I get stuff right, I'll be linking up with the Hoopers again for our little Atlanta Hawks fly-throughs too. So yeah, definitely appreciate you for having us on this morning, Rob. And like I said, hope you win some money. Mo, glad you get to enjoy a free day of football. Congrats to your Ohio State Buckeyes as well. And
No.
Do not congratulate that.
Mo would not be able to handle being a USC fan.
Yeah, so I had to throw that in there. I had to throw it in there.
Real quick, I just want to say, we'll talk about that off camera. We'll talk about that.
Mo, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can follow me at Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, on TikTok as well. I post clips from shows. Check out Other Flames anywhere you get your podcast. Check out Phil Stormer's weekly college football podcast that me and Walker do. I think from here on out, we'll probably be doing it on Tuesdays, post-college football playoff, no later than Wednesday, to kind of break down the new rankings. We have a lot to get into this week. A lot of things happen that's newsworthy. But other than that, I appreciate you for having me on. And make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com for all your sports needs, entertainment. Check out everybody. They do great shows, great articles, great work. The betting aspect is taking off. So just make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com for all your sports needs and entertainment.
And you already know you can find me at FNC Pod on Twitter, Football and Chill Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and a little more active recently on TikTok. I just posted a TikTok the other day that I'm getting a lot of hate for. So definitely go check that out. You also find me on Commanders in the Chat every Friday for the pregame for that week, and then every 8 p.m. Eastern after the game on Sunday. So we'll be doing one later too. My guy, Couch Coach Live. Cruise Island will be coming back fairly soon, probably within the next couple of months after I'm done moving all that and get my stuff set up at the new house. That's definitely going to be coming back, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Like Mo said, go check out everybody at Off the Ball Network. Go follow OTBN on Twitter. Give everybody a follow. Go check out everybody's stuff. Everybody puts out great content, very entertaining. And we do it. We don't say stuff just to say it. We say it because we mean it. Just like Eli Manning doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, with that being said, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.